Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this video, we're going to talk about the August 24th, 2016 earthquake in Italy. This earthquake, I truly think, was a tribute to Nikola Tesla, who once said he had harnessed the power to split the earth in two, claiming that he could cause earthquakes with the research he was doing into creating free energy for the people of the world. If you don't know who Nikola Tesla is, he is the famous scientist. He passed away in 1943. He was born in Croatia. He's credited with discovering alternating current and the radio as we know it. He also has many other discoveries. His mission, supposedly, at least so we're told, was to create free energy for the people of the world. And there are some who think Nikola Tesla's technology, his discoveries, were stolen essentially by the tyrants who run this world and have been kept secret, and also at the same time, the technology used against us in a negative way. And if what I am saying is correct in this video, that the earthquake in Italy was the work of mad science and a tribute to Nikola Tesla, then that would confirm what people already suspect. So if you're new to my channel, I talk about the language of numerology and gematria. If you stay through my video, I think you will find this very enlightening. There's this famous quote that Nikola Tesla gave that's a bit of a mystery. I think we're going to unlock some of that mystery in this video. So if you stay tuned, if you listen, if you're patient, I think you're going to be rewarded for witnessing this. Anyhow, Tesla has this quote: "If you only knew the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, then you would have the key to the universe." And we're going to talk about what 3, 6, and 9 has to do with this earthquake and also Nikola Tesla himself. So let's begin by reading about the earthquake. I just want to read the opening paragraph, what was reported the night it happened, show you what stands out, and show you how it connects to Nikola Tesla and more. So this is CNN's reporting. A strong earthquake struck central Italy early Wednesday, that was August 24th, 2016. In the United States of America, it was still August 23rd. Leaving several people dead and terrified residents standing outside at night, surrounded by collapsed buildings. At least 4 people died following the 6.2 magnitude earthquake, according to CNN affiliate RAI. The earthquake hit 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles southeast of Norcia at 3:36 a.m. So what stands out to me is that they're reporting this way: 6.2 magnitude, 6.2 miles, and then the 336. We just talked about the numbers 3, 6, 9. The 3 and 6 are right before our eyes. The 9 is hidden in the numerology of the minutes. 36 minutes. 36 in numerology is 3 plus 6 equals 9. Numerology is the practice of breaking larger numbers down to a single digit or stopping when you hit 11 or 22. So 369 connected to this time. Also, if you do the math, 3:36 a.m. is the 216th minute of the day. 60 minutes in an hour, 60 plus 60 plus 60 for the first 3 hours is 180 minutes, plus 36 more minutes is 216 minutes. We're going to be talking about the connection 216 to Tesla, and also the relationship between 369 and 216. 216 is a very important number in Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism. The number 216 in Kabbalah has to do with God and prophecy. So back to the reading. 6.2 miles southeast of Norcia at 3:36 a.m., according to the United States Geological Survey. Its tremors rattled Rome about 100 miles away. In one of the hardest hit areas, buildings collapsed and left most of the town destroyed. The roads in and out of town are cut off. Half the town is gone. Sergio Perozzi, mayor of Amatrice, told ARI. So the devastating news comes from the mayor. Interestingly enough, the mayor's name has the same gematria as the word propaganda. Sometimes things could be a coincidence. With regards to that double 6.2 reporting, 6.2 miles, 6.2 magnitude, and by the way, Truth Seeker, I've said this many times doing the work that I do. The reason the United States has not gone to the metric system is because the Freemasons who govern over us, they truly need these alternating systems to code their numbers the way they always do in the way they do this reporting. The people who govern over us are crazy about mathematics. Nikola Tesla even called this out, and we'll revisit that. But anyhow, the name Nikola in Gematria sums to 62. So does Mason, so does Torah, major links between Freemasonry and the Jewish faith that goes by their holy book, the Torah. Nikola Tesla in simple English Gematria sums to 119, just like Star of David, the Zionist symbol, just like all-seeing eye, the symbol on our currency, and so much more. If you've never seen my work on the U.S. currency, the Star of David, the all-seeing eye, and the Bavarian Illuminati, check out that video. I tell you things about the money you've never heard before and that you can verify are true yourself. Very eye-opening information. With regards to where this earthquake happened, Norcia, it has gematria of 33. You know, this earthquake happened at about 3:30 in the morning in Norcia. This earthquake also came exactly 33 weeks after the anniversary of Nikola Tesla's death. He died 73 years earlier, 1943. This earthquake, a span of 33 weeks from the day he died. Just as a little fast fact on the Gregorian calendar, March 3rd is the 62nd day of the year. We're talking about 3362. Our calendar, our language, it has been created by this international network of Freemasons. Remember, Gregorian equals 58, calendar equals 58, Freemasonry equals 58, secret society 58, Freemasonry, the International Secret Society. These people have a stranglehold on our world. I will link this post. Here I'm just documenting the connections with the Jewish calendar and the date that this fell on. Nikola Tesla has very Zionist coding on his name, the way we know it. From the day that this happened on the Jewish calendar until their New Year's Day is 39 days, and New Year's is very important in terms of the way events are measured in this nation. For example, September 11th happened on New Year's Day of the Coptic calendar, and there's a think tank that you can look up still to this day, their documents still online, the Project for a New American Century. That's what became the Bush administration after George W. Bush took office. A year before September 11th, they wrote a document saying this nation needed a new Pearl Harbor to start wars in the Middle East, to change the domestic agenda, to do all the things that we're living out in the post-9/11 world. This was all written about in something called the Project for a New American Century on New Year's Day of the Coptic calendar of the new century. September 11th happened. And think about that date, written 11/9 in most parts of the world. 119, like all-seeing eye, like Star of David, even like Nikola Tesla. You know, Nikola Tesla said he had energy that could just destroy. And with regards to the World Trade Centers, think about how those buildings largely crumbled to dust. Very interesting the way they came apart. That time, 3:36 in the morning, so often when the madmen who govern over us, who do things by the numbers, do their madness, they code from the Bible, from the Torah, from the Quran. They use the books of prophecy. John 3:36, something like the time that this happened in the morning. John and time have the exact same gematria, by the way. John 3:36, he that believeth on the Son hath everlasting life, and he that believeth not, the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God abideth on him. You know, the wrath of God, Revelation, the book of prophecy about the destruction of the world, has to do with earthquakes and more. So this earthquake, it happened at 3:36 in the morning, the 216th minute of the day. Tesla in Jewish gematria sums to 216. There's this story in his biography that he turned down becoming the world's richest man because he was trying to stay humble. He had a goal of bringing free energy to people. You know, he sounds like the story of the perfect man, a mad genius with a good heart, with the right mind, whose, his wishes sadly weren't realized. Anyway, the story is that he turned all that money down for $216,000 instead, which was still a lot of money at the time. Very rich man, but a lot different than millions of dollars. So what I want to do real quick with this 216 in Tesla in mind is I want to look at his death. And I also want to look at this quote from him. This is from Tesla. Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality. And what I have been exposing since 2013 is that the Freemasons have taken this world, science, spirituality, and they've built a numerical matrix of false understanding, essentially taking us out of reality. That is pretty much what I have been saying and trying to explain. They have us living in a false understanding of the world, a false reality that's a matrix of numbers. So anyhow, let's look at Nikola Tesla's death in relation to 216. He was born July 10th, 1856 in Smiljan, Croatia. He died in New York City. By the way, New York equals 39. We talked about how this earthquake came 39 days until New Year for the Jewish calendar. New York equals 39, NY equals 39, Empire equals 39. It's the Empire State. New York was established on a date with 39 numerology. The significance of 39 is it comes from the Old Testament, which the Jewish faith goes by. And if you've never seen my work on 39, the United Nations in New York's 39 floors tall. Madison equals 39. He made 39 proposals that became the Bill of Rights. He did it on a date with 39 numerology. In the Old Testament is where Moses gets his 10 commandments from God. If you write out the word 10, T-E-N, in gematria, that sums to 39. So just remember that Tesla died in New York. We'll talk about what's interesting about that hotel. Please also notice that the name Nikola Tesla in Pythagorean gematria sums to 38, 47, and 56. He was born in 56. The word light equals 56. He was truly a bringer of light into this world if he was the person that we read that he was. That 47 also stands out. We just talked about how time equals 47, John equals 47. 47 is a number of foundation. The Freemasons have something called Euclid's 47th problem, which is about establishing foundation. The Freemasons are builders. Talked about Nikola Tesla in simple English gematria. His birth numerology, July 10th, 1856, a date with 91 numerology. If you add every number up to 13, it sums to 91. He's known for inventing AC, alternating current, A, first letter C, 3. It could be a coincidence, but sometimes I wonder if what Nikola Tesla really is a character created as a front for possibly the work of a group of people, and maybe in the form of a grand mocking, just to let people know that this good technology is out there, but you can't have it. It's hard to say exactly what is going on in this mad world governed by the people that it is. The Freemasons pride themselves on being the keepers of knowledge, the invisible architects of society, and secrecy, which is why people such as myself and you watching this, we've been kept in the dark our whole lives. All we can do is try to fill in the gaps by piecing the clues together. That's what my channel is all about. So anyhow, his date of birth had 73 numerology. Again, the earthquake came 33 weeks after the 73-year anniversary of his death. I have a video on 37 and 73, how the Hebrew alphabet's built on the mathematics of those numbers, one of my older videos. I noticed that it's in both of his birth numerology. The date he died was a date with 51 numerology. Conspiracy equals 51. Think about Area 51. Federal equals 51. Freemason has gematria 51. But here's where it gets interesting. From his birthday to his date of death, and look at the dates he died. July 10th, or he was born July 10th, 7/10. He died January 7th, 1/7. 0 is not really a number. Dates with 1 and 7. If I remember, I'll talk about what I think that this 1-7 thing is, but it's so interesting how often I document that the dates people die on are dates that reflect their birthday. This seems to be an overwhelming pattern. Also, from July 10th to January 7th, he had his last birthday, 1942, right? He was 86 years old. Here's what's interesting about that. He was 86 when he died. The word symbol equals 86, triangle equals 86, pyramid equals 86. Nikola Tesla, very much a symbol. Here in Seattle, where I live outside the power company, they maintain the bushes to look like Nikola Tesla's face. It's actually pretty awesome. But you know, Nikola Tesla, a world-recognized symbol. With regards to him dying, his last birthday being in 42, the gematria of birthday is 42, just like Freemasons. The Freemasons love to measure from birthdays. From his last birthday to his death was 181 days. 181 is the 42nd prime number. But look at this. Again, Tesla equals 216. And if you write out 181, it equals 216. And again, we're talking about an earthquake that has a lot of parallels to him that happened in the 216th minute of the day. We're talking about a man who said he had the power to create earthquakes. 181, the 42nd prime. Here's some 42 words to know. Math, birthday, Freemason, Zionism, New Testament, New World. The word new alone equals 42. War equals 42. World War equals 42. There's more, but this is a very special number. It's why the number is used as the answer to everything in the Hitchhiker's Galaxy. It all comes back to math. Nikola Tesla's quote was complaining about how the Freemasons were running things. Perhaps he knew, perhaps he was aware, and that's what he was trying to point out. I'm sure as a scientist, someone trying to get somewhere, he saw that the bureaucracy, the roadblock in front of him, he probably recognized what the network was and what they were doing. I'll remind you, the Freemasons are builders, architect, and building, gematria 42. The word sin equals 42. The first Bibles were 42-line Bibles. The New Testament again equals 42, begins with the 42 generations leading up to Jesus. Revelation, the book of prophecy, the beast rules for 42 months. Again, he died at age 86. Now his name's used as a symbol for a motor company. Supposedly, that motor company on May 7th had a fatal autopilot accident. May 7th, 5/7. Tesla equals 57. Stories by the numbers. We were talking about 33 in Tesla. Notice that Smeagol, where he was born, has gematria of 33. Interesting. Croatia, gematria of 67. If I remember, I'll come back to 67. I was going to talk about the Jesuits at the end, if I remember. 67 ties in with that conversation. Here's what else I want you to see. Notice how Wikipedia, they say the city he was born in and where he died. They didn't just write New York City, New York. I'm telling you, the people who run Wikipedia, who edit it, they are this Masonic gang. Multiple people have tried to make a Wikipedia for me, and it gets deleted every time very quickly. Look at this, though. They say where he died, and I'm going to show you why they show where he died. The Wyndham New Yorker Hotel. In gematria, that sums to 111, just like New York. And in numerology terms, when you triple a digit, you magnify its power. 1 is the most powerful number in numerology. 1 represents, the infinite, God, the number that can do anything. Every single number is divisible by 1. That's not true of any other number. So you're magnifying the power of this already powerful number. Killing a very important person, that could be the symbolism behind it. But really what I think it's all about is, murder by numbers by the gang in power, the Freemasons, the Zionists, known as the Illuminati, the New World Order, the One World Order. Nikola Tesla, if this was a legit person, if this is what he was really trying to do, spread free energy, this went against the One World Order's wishes, which is more about controlling people and having people live under their system and being less free. Nikola Tesla wanted free energy for everybody, to empower them. The people who govern over us, they do not. New York in gematria. Has that Freemason coating within it. Some interesting gematria for Nikola Tesla. The numbers we're most focused on, the 62 and 216 from this earthquake, 6.2 at the 216th minute. Here's something else I want to tell you about 33 and potentially a man-made contrived earthquake. When you write out 33, it sums to 156. When you write out false flag, it sums to 156. False flag also has gematria of 33. Remember, September 11th, the buildings destroyed in a very curious way, seemingly pulverized in midair. That was September 11th. 9/11 is the 156th prime number, and the World Trade Center's construction began in 68. They fell down 33 years later in 2001. 911 was also made the national emergency dialing code in 68, 33 years later. George W. Bush also graduated in 68. His birthday, a span of 68 days before September 11th. And the construction firm that built the World Trade Centers, Magnuson Klemenkic Associates, named gematria of 156. Not by coincidence. It's because it was all planned. It was all by the numbers. The things we're living out so often on a daily basis, the news stories, they're planned long in advance. And if that earthquake truly was man-made that was in Italy, August 24th, I assure you it was planned out long in advance. These people are into rituals, tributes. You know, this earthquake very much looking like a tribute to Nikola Tesla, who might have given this mad gang the capability of achieving this. So now let's talk about 216 and 369. 216, 369. This is so interesting, Truth Seeker. You know what? Let me take a step back before we talk about it. There's one more thing I want to get to. Perfect, right here. I have been talking about this in the time I've documented earthquake curiosities. So many earthquakes in this world that get mainstream reporting, the big news, they're centered around the number 44, and they often have to do with the Fibonacci sequence, what are often referred to as the numbers of God. Fibonacci in gematria sums to 44, just like earthquake. If you don't know what the Fibonacci sequence is, let me show you. It's this number sequence right here. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 5 plus 8 is 13. What you do is you add the last two numbers in the sequence to get the next number, and you continue to count. Some very interesting things happen in this, such as 144 being the 12th Fibonacci number. The square root of 144 is 12. It also happens to be the 12th Fibonacci number. 144 is a number that has a lot to do with time. There's 1,440 minutes in a day. Take the 0 off the end, you're right back to 144. In Jewish gematria, the word time equals 144. So does light. The sun creates light, the keeper of time. Anyhow, I just want you to understand what this number sequence is. What this experiment reveals is the real numerology connection within the Fibonacci sequence, which we're going to explain. The Fibonacci sequence, the real one, begins this way. You can also do manipulations of it. If you start the Fibonacci sequence with 2, the numbers become different because 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 6 is 10. You see, it creates a different sequence. So what this person's done is they've started the Fibonacci sequence with 1, with 2, with 3, with 4, with 5, with 6, with 7, with 8, with 9. And they've broken down the sums into numerology terms. So they're breaking each of these values to a single digit. So in the 2 where they get to 10, 1 plus 0 becomes 1. When they get to 16, 1 plus 6 becomes 7, and so on. So they're finding a pattern using numerology within the Fibonacci sequence. And check this out. This is where 369 and 216 come together. 1 through 9 in this Fibonacci sequence pattern, what happens is every fourth number in the sequence, so this is the Fibonacci sequence with 1s. This is the Fibonacci sequence with 2s. Are you following me with my cursor? Fibonacci sequence with 3s broken down in numerology. What happens is these patterns emerge. Every 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you get the 3, 6, 9 across. All the way. This pattern within this row, within this sequence of every 3, the numbers will be either 3, 6, or 9, all the way down. So that's one of the patterns. Do you see that? If you don't see that, come back and look at it again. Sometimes your eyes have to look at something to unlock it. Sometimes numbers, they're a little trickier for us than others. But look at this. Counting down every block of 4. Every 4 numbers in each sequence is a 3, 6, or 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. You see? With each sequence to infinity, it's the same thing. A 3, 6, or 9, and these repeating patterns. And in case you didn't know this about numerology, 9 is the most important number in numerology. 9 is very special. If you multiply any number times 9, that number will have a numerology of 9. Any number multiplied by 9 will become a number that has a numerology of 9. Also, any number that you add 9 to keeps its numerology. Its numerology doesn't change. So if a number had a 4 numerology and you added 9 more, it would keep that numerology. You see? If you added 18 more, it would keep that numerology. If you added 27 more, it would keep that numerology. Because all those numbers have numerology of 9. So, if you're asking what's the 216 thing, this pattern is replicated within, the first 9 numbers going down a sequence of 24. 9 times 24 is 216, 216, 369. This is a beautiful illustration of it. And, I've been working at this for 3 years, seeing, these pieces here, the 369, the 216, the Fibonacci sequence, the 44s. And I'm documenting it, and I'm putting it together as quickly as I can. Some things take a really long time to see. I'm dedicated to this research, Truth Seeker, because from the beginning I knew it would bear fruit. And again, I share it because there's always more to discover. I know there's greater minds out there. There's people who can take this even further than I see it. But this is truly fascinating. And this is why I truly do think that what we experienced in Italy with this earthquake is mad science, What Nikola Tesla once said he was capable of doing. And at the same time, Truth Seeker, it's very possible that there never even really was a Nikola Tesla, but if there wasn't, I assure you, there was a gang of people, working at this science, and instead of putting themselves out there as the people taking credit, they give us a front. I think a lot of people in the history of science, from Einstein to Bill Gates, I think a lot of these people are fronts. The name Gates equals 33. Bill Gates equals 33. He was CEO of Microsoft for 33 years. No coincidence. So now here's the last thing I want to close out with. Half the town is gone. This was CNN's first headline when the earthquake happened. Half the town is gone has gematria of 84. And right away I thought, 84, Italy, that reminds me of the Jesuits. The Catholic Church is there, the Jesuit order, the secret order within the church. Jesuit equals 84, United States of America equals 84. These headlines in the U.S., it was still August 23rd, 2016. A date was 67 numerology. Croatia equals 67, where Tesla's from. Sort of things such as satanic, Italy, West, all numbers that could be relevant here. If there are people truly using mad science to, destroy innocent life for the sake of experiment, for the sake of destroy and rebuild, that is what Satanism is. Self-worship, not caring for others. What lended more credence to this theory of this possibly being a tribute to the Jesuit order, this tribute here, since this is an Italy earthquake, was the fact that this happened a span of 35 days before the Jesuit order's birthday, The word Catholic equals 35. Here in the U.S., we had one Catholic president, JFK. 35th president, only Catholic. Catholic equals 35. What do you think? Coincidence? RFK, his brother's initials, also gematria 35. JFK and RFK both died with major 144 connections, the number for time. So, yeah, I just wanted to throw that last little piece in there. If you want to read about the Jewish calendar in greater depth in relation to this, please check that out. Remember, 39 also connects to Nikola Tesla's death. This happening 39 days before the Jewish New Year. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.